morning, Paul Fickens. How are we doing out there in crypto land? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're combining the asset classes of real estate and cryptocurrency together, and we're taking our entrepreneurial friends, our real estate investor friends, and you guys along for this crypto journey where we're going to use crypto as a wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool. And guys, it's just been an absolute blast of a time. I've been on off and on with vacation. We streamed on Monday, but then I had a couple more days off. We went out to some waterfalls out here in Puerto Rico. It was an absolute blast. We did some like rock freaking diving into these pools. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing stuff, guys. Absolutely banger of a time. You guys got to decouple yourself from crypto once in a while. Go out there and touch some grass, right? That's what they say all the time. And you can be any version of touching the grass, right? Like touching the grass is going out and just living life and enjoying time with your family, enjoying time with your loved ones. I feel like it's super important to be doing these things, you know, especially as we're kind of going through this sideways action or downward price action, which, you know, I don't think Pulse has been going down much lately. I think we're a little bit down on the day. I'm going to bring up the price chart here in a minute. But, man, it's important for our sanity, for our mental health, mental framework, to get out there and enjoy your life. You know, there's a saying in the entrepreneurial world that it's not the destination that is the sweet spot. It's the journey, right? And so I think crypto is no different. I mean, think about this. When you go to take profits in 2025 and you've made it, right, or at least somewhat made it, but you know the cycle's over, well, then what, right? And it's that journey that you have to enjoy. And throughout this journey, you know, go out and touch some grass. So Dane's not going to be with us today. He is flying back to Puerto Rico. I'm doing an early stream because we're going to go to the beach. And I was like, well, I'll knock out a quick stream and then we'll head to the beach, enjoy the rest of the day. And I didn't know how many people are going to show up anyways. Right now, there's the Bitcoin conference happening in Nashville, which is absolutely crazy because from what I know, Donald Trump will be speaking there. And then there's rumor going around that he's talking about like how he's going to make Bitcoin one of the, you know, basic, you know, the reserves. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We'll see what he talks about, but it's very interesting to see. But it's just fun times, guys, and I'm having an absolute blast. You know, you got to believe in something. This is the community that I believe in. You got to believe, you know, that you are in the right assets, and those are the people who will be rewarded, even through the times of FUD, even through the times of uncertainty. But, man, I have never been more sure that I'm in the right place at the right time with you guys where we could change the trajectory of our family tree. I like to tell people, you know, in our journey through life, and as we're, you know, having kids, you know, I feel like strategically there's always one person put into our family tree who could change and break the curse of mediocrity. So let me repeat that again. So through your family tree of all your, you know, your parents, your grandparents, and then of course your kids and their kids, somewhere in there, I believe that there's always a person placed to break the chains of mediocrity, break the curse of mediocrity. And so I feel like cryptocurrency can be used as a tool to break those chains and change the trajectory of your family tree, right? And break that curse. You know, of course, now you have to be a good steward of that money that you make from cryptocurrency and know how to position it. This is why we love real estate as a wealth preservation tool, you know, and to basically change that trajectory. So, but yeah, I figured I'd do a quick stream today and connect with you guys. So that way, you know, let you know that we're back. We are back. We'll be streaming again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Open Mic Friday. We are probably going to be streaming early again, though, because once again, my family's still here. They're here to Sunday. And so if we can stream early and do Open Mic Friday, then we're going to go back to the beach again. And then, they leave on Sunday. And so we'll be back in the hopper like normal on Monday. So it's just, let's check in with you guys, see what's going on. So we got Hex Evolve Lazy Boy. What's up, man? In one. The beach well, early show. Yeah, today, just because I'm going to get it knocked out, I wanted to touch base with you guys, and I'm going to the beach, man. That's what we're doing today. We're just going to chill out on the beach, eat some lunch, and enjoy the day, man. It's a beautiful day out here in Puerto Rico. It's always usually a beautiful day unless we're getting hit with a hurricane. That's the exception to the rule. Ruth M., good afternoon. What is going on, Ruth? Red Squirrel. Oi, what's up, my man? How are we doing out there? We got Brett Powers. What's up, bro? Let's go Pulse Trade, man. Yeah, I agree, man. I have never been more bullish in my entire life on anything. You just got to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together. You got to have a little bit of foresight and faith, and you can see the clues, man. It's all coming together nicely, I think. So, Hexclaim, what's going on? How are we doing? I always touch grass. Yeah, man. It's you got to get out there and live your life. You can't be sitting in front of your computer and sitting on Twitter all day. You need to go out there and enjoy what life has to offer for you, even during the journey to success, right? And it's the same when you're an entrepreneur and you're building a business. You know, there's a lot of rough roads in building a business, a lot of lumps on the head that you'll take, a lot of life lessons. And you got to learn to take a step back sometimes and go enjoy the fruits of your labor. This is no different. It really is. Like, being an investor is the exact same as being an entrepreneur. They have so many different correlations, and it's awesome. What's going on? All three candidates are apparently going. I saw that the Democratic Party candidate she canceled. Let me know if that's true in the chat. I don't know if it was a rumor, or I know Trump's going. He's going to be talking. But I'd be interested to see if she shows up, because, I mean, they haven't been good for crypto at all. Like, what are you gonna go on stage and get booed? I mean, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she'll go in there with some good news. Who knows? I don't know. So, Norbert, what is up, man? Grass touchers. Yeah, man. Let's get out there and enjoy life a little bit, right? Like, it's just not all about our bags and how they're pumping. And right. We need to disconnect sometimes and kind of forget about that. And then when you reconnect again, it's a lot more fun again, right? Like you're revived, you're refreshed. And so it's just it's been a great time out here. And what up, Willie B. Long 33, back from smoking some grass. There's one way you could touch some grass. I myself do not smoke any grass. I used to in my early years. I used to smoke a lot of grass, but now I'm 100% sober. You know, I don't do anything. I enjoy occasional kava. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's just a drink made from a Polynesian root, and it's very similar to like chamomile. But there's a kava bar out here in Puerto Rico, and actually I'm going there tonight because I hold what's called Crypto Thursday there. And we onboard locals, local guys here in Puerto Rico that are interested in crypto, on how to get a little bit of exposure into this asset class. And that's what we go do. And why I'm onboarding people, I get to drink kava for free. So it's a win-win for me. I love it. So, well, cool, guys. Let's check out the secret chart, because I know that's why you guys are really here. We're the only show, besides maybe one or two other guys. Actually, Hans does. Once in a while, Axis does. They like to show this chart. I think it's very important. And Sami talks about it too, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But let's look at Pulse to ETH, because that's the real number I want to know. That's the real, like, we want to beat ETH in the long run. And if ETH is going to do amazing numbers, then Pulse will do amazing numbers. And I know some of you guys out there are like, oh, but ETH is like, it's dying. The ETF came out and we're crashing. This is the top. I told you. Well, guys, if you remember the Bitcoin ETF, when the inflow started happening, we got wrecked there too. Like, I remember it crashed down, like, I don't know, it was like 15 to 25%. You guys probably know more than me, but it was like 2 weeks to a month before like we saw anything happening. We saw Grayscale selling down the price of Bitcoin initially when those ETFs got turned on. And it's the same thing here in Ethereum. We saw $1 billion worth of ETH sent over to Coinbase like the day before the ETH ETF went live. And then what happened? Those guys started selling the price down. So they're trying to get out of that position, and they're using the ETF as exit liquidity. And hey, let them get out, right? Let them get out at $3,200, $3,500, maybe even $2,900. Let them get out. And then when ETH goes to, 7K, 11K, 15K, well, then, they're not able to sell the price down, and they'll be forced to buy back higher. But let's go and look at that chart, because that's always my favorite chart to look at. I feel like it is a great indicator to know where we're at. I'm going to bring it up on Desk Screener first, guys, because for some reason when I stream, Desk Screener runs really, really slow. So let's try this. All right, here we are. Yeah, guys, I mean, this price chart looks bullish as hell to me. It looks like it's trying to form a bottom. Like, I'm no TA guy, but you always hear Hans talk about we need to create market structure. We need those W's. If we see this keep printing upward, well, this could be arguably be seen as a W. For sure, it's forming some kind of structure down here. Now, it could run sideways down here for a lot longer and not print a W here. Obviously, it could go much longer in the next 2, 3, 4 months. Also listen to Hans. He's saying that we're not going to see altcoins run against BTC or have that altcoin season until we start approaching December, the end of the year, right? So maybe like November, we starting to see this stuff pump. Now, I think Ethereum will start going before that, but I also could be wrong, right? I think Ethereum in the next 2 to 4 weeks, we should start seeing some momentum to the upside. But who knows for altcoins? And we need ETH to go first before we really start seeing, all these other altcoins and layer ones starting to do what they're supposed to do. So, I mean, I hope this continues out with some kind of W formation and starts mooning against ETH. Obviously, the reason why we're seeing some green candles here is because Ethereum's been going down the last couple of days, and Pulse Chain's been holding their prices pretty well. Like, Pulse is at 4047. It touched like 4052, but like the volatility is not nearly to the downside as Ethereum has been, and that's why we've seen some of these green candles. So I'm all for it. In fact, I'm for if we do see a little bit of a correction. We had a bit of a pump when I was on one of the Spanish Virgin Islands. It was really cool to see us pumping. Maybe I should go on vacation more often. Maybe that was the catalyst. I don't know, but I would like to see Pulse kind of hold these ranges while ETH does what it does. That would be super bullish, because I mean, I feel like we've gotten rid of most of the sellers who are going to sell. Like, if you haven't sold a year after we've launched, you had a great opportunity to sell in, January, February, March, when we had our first, good pump. Like, if you didn't sell through there or sell after the, everything started dropping, I don't know who'll be selling down here, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously there could be somebody who wakes up and their life, is turned for the worst and they need the liquidity. There are those people that happens. It's just life. But for the most part, man, I don't know, guys. I don't know how much more sellers we have in the ecosystem. There's a saying that the bull market starts when you run out of sellers, right? And the bear market starts when you run out of buyers. And I don't know. It's interesting to see, but I think that we are in for a wild ride, and it might take some time to get there. I hope this price chart plays out. I love to see us creating some kind of floor against ETH. I mean, you can see here on the daily, these are lower highs, right? And it's starting to creep up. And I hope this W prints out and we kind of just, go up some in this area. The next pocket of liquidity would be, well, up in here. Right? I don't know if it happens anytime soon, but that would be where the next range would be at, and we would probably go sideways. We'd probably hit it at first and bounce lower off of it, but then eventually it would range there. So yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. I love that chart though, what is playing out. So let's go ahead and go back to the chat and see what you guys are doing. We got Crypto 7, man. What's up, bro? If you guys aren't following Crypto 7, man, you're doing yourself a disservice. The guy's always got just massive alpha coming out of his channel. I always try to tune in when he's streaming. It's usually really early in the morning here for me, but every once in a while I'm up during that time, and I always tune in if I am up. He's got some amazing alpha and content. So you guys go over and like his stuff. I know he has a new channel too. I'd go and subscribe to that, and get us up on the help our algorithms, right? Get us to where we can cut through the noise and bring this content to the entire crypto space. And the only way we can do that is by you guys subbing, hitting that bell notification, hitting the like button when you're on here, and then commenting. This is what drives up the algorithm, and you can help us bring the good word of the cryptocurrencies that we love, which is mainly the Pulse Chain ecosystem, to the masses. That's what we want to do. So, yep. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Everyone go sub to him too. Chris Crypto AI Corner. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. I did, man. It's been really cool to have these guys out here for 2 weeks, forcing myself to take a vacation where, if they didn't come out, I'd probably not have taken a vacation. I'd still be working. So, yeah, there's my brother. He was there for our little shark encounter. That was absolutely a wild time. I guess I could tell the story again for you guys that did not hear on Monday, but we were scuba diving out in the Spanish Virgin Islands. And in fact, the island specifically we were scuba diving at was called Culebra. And we go down, well, we're getting ready to go down on our first dive. And the dive guide, the guide that was taking us down, he was like, hey, I'm going to go down and I'm going to spear a lionfish. And he has this big old spear. And I'm like, okay, what for? Like, we're going to cook it. We're going to eat it. He's like, I'm going to feed Gertrude. I'm like, who the heck is Gertrude? And he goes, a reef shark. I'm like, all right. And he's going to feed this reef shark from the boat is what I'm thinking. So we dive down. Great dive. The coral was beautiful. You see these amazing, colorful fish. I saw lobster. We saw sea turtle. It was insane. But we find a lionfish in the bottom of the ocean. He's all stuck in one of the corals. Well, not stuck, but he's hiding in one of the corals. But the dive guide, he saw the lionfish, and he goes and he catches it with his spear. And then the rest of the dive, he's carrying around this lionfish with him. It's like, okay, this is cool. We'll get to see a shark eat this guy. And so we finish the first dive. We go up. We have lunch, and he's got this lionfish in the boat, on the spear. And then while we're having lunch, we went snorkeling. And you have to put an hour time before in between your dives because of what's called the bends. You can get sick if you do too many dives too fast. So we took an hour break while they're preparing us lunch. And while we're snorkeling, we saw a barracuda, and this barracuda was massive. I mean, he was like 3 feet long with his big old ugly teeth, and they come up right to your face. They're not afraid of us. It's really odd. But it was cool to see that guy. And then we get back in the boat and we get ready for our second dive, and he's grabbing his lionfish. And I'm thinking, like, are we going to feed it? And he's like, no, we're gonna dive with it. And like, you're going to feed Gertrude while we're diving? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, this is my pet shark. Okay, what do you mean your pet shark? This is absolutely wild. So we go in for our second dive. Absolutely beautiful dive again, and we're cruising along, and he's got this lionfish, and we're about 20 to 40 minutes into the dive, and then sure enough, here comes this reef shark. I mean, he's like 5-6 feet long. I mean, he's about as big as I am, and he's cruising past us. And the dive instructor, is trying to like get his attention with the lionfish. Apparently, he knew that the lionfish was there, but he was playing some like games with the dive guide. And he goes, and the diving guy was like, I don't know why he doesn't want the fish, or she wants the fish. We're like, all right. And so we get halfway through our dive, we turn around, and we're going back, and then my brother starts smacking me on the fin, and he starts doing this motion, which means shark. When you're underwater, and sure enough, I turn around and Gertrude was following us like closely, and I'm like, okay, it's a little scary. And so I let the dive guide know, and he turns around and he knows exactly how to get her attention. And, he's waving the lionfish around, and he puts the lionfish on the bottom of the ocean. And sure enough, this reef shark comes around, And right in front of me, I'm like 5 feet in front of me, this reef shark comes and eats the lionfish. And it was absolutely the most wildest experience. I'd never been in open waters with a shark before. And I'm like, that shark does not eat people? And he's like, nah. He's like, she's not big enough to be interested in people. And there's 3 of us versus 1 of her. And she knows exactly, the drill. We go down and feed her every time. And I've been doing this since 2017. I'm like, holy crap, that's insane. And this guy's done a lot of dives. He's lived in Culebra for 20 years and did over 10,000 dives. And so, like, literally, this shark was like his pet shark. So it was one of the coolest experiences. I had to share that again with you guys. I shared it on Monday, but I figured I'd tell the story again. My brother was there, and it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. I've never had an experience like that. So, Red Squirrel, what's going on? We got Crypto Ewok. Good morning, Corey. What's up, my man? How are we doing out there? Bright Light Crypto. Yep, that's right, Bright Light. We'll have to get on stream together sometime and talk about your YEP token and the agreeable. So the agreeable index? I think it's the agreeable index and your liquidity pool over there. So that'd be a lot of fun. What's up, Tin Top Man? How's that heat out there, bro? Are you burning up? Puerto Rico's good. It's about 88 degrees today. It's always humid, but you get used to the humidity. So Urban Productions, man. What's up, man? Have you seen the famous Chupacabra yet? Nah, not yet, man. Not yet. Not out here in Puerto Rico. Who knows where he or she lives. But hey, man, we haven't been scammed yet, right? Solid X is still cruising along. Who knows when it's ever going to do anything? But the Firewell makes a shit ton of liquidity. It makes about 80 to 150 grand a day. So we'll see if he ever buys that token up. If not, I have way more in my blue chips than I do in any of my moon bags, my moon coins. So, but yeah, guys, I mean, I just wanted to come on, check in with you guys. Don't get fudded out. We're right where we're supposed to be at. You got to keep the faith. Go out there, touch some grass. I always tell people, go out and build a business, right? If you go out and build a business, it does a couple things. You're focused your time, energy, and efforts on something else. And it don't have to be something crazy. You could be like, an Amazon store, right? Do something with your time and energy that's focused on creating value in the world. And then the cool part is when you start making money at that business, you can bring it into crypto. And it's a great way to get your mind off of the entirety of the cryptocurrency, ecosystem. And it's easy to kind of, go on Twitter and feel that negative energy that we see so much over there. And it's just like, yeah, it's just because where we're at in the cycles. Sami likes to say green candles make people smarter. Man, that's so true because, and I could tell if the price charts are green. I don't even think to look at the price charts. I just go on Twitter and look through the comments and see how sentiment is. And it tells me the entire story. And if we're red, I know it. It tells me the entire story, especially if we're red on the monthly or green on the monthly. It makes a huge difference. And so, yeah, it's just a good way to have, get a sentiment, a temperature check of where we're at in the market. And I know some people who trade against that sentiment on Twitter, right? If there's a lot of FUD and a lot of toxicity on Twitter, they buy. If they've seen a lot of kind of hoorah and celebrating and 10,000x price predictions, then they're selling. And I know traders who trade off of that sentiment. It's literally that good of an indicator if that's what you wanted to do. I don't trade. I'm a buy and hold investor. I like to treat my crypto just like I treat real estate. I want to buy, I want to hold, I want to cash flow, hopefully. I don't always do liquidity providing and staking, but I do it during sideways and downward price action. When we start hitting risk on again, I will be removing my liquidity positions. And actually, I can show you guys exactly how I kind of play that game. Maybe that will bring some value to you. Let me bring up this. This is what I do when I liquidity provide. So I'm liquidity providing with the Ink Impulse X pair For one, you got to ask yourself the question, am I okay being stuck with one or the other coin just in case stuff goes bad and it runs, in permanent loss against you? And the answer for me on these two assets is yes. I feel like they will take turns being the one in the spotlight. I feel like Ink potentially could be the one that, runs against everything, although Hans has different sentiment on that, and we'll see. I have bags of everything just in case I'm wrong. But what I do, guys, is so I have two liquidity positions open on two different wallets. And where these lines are at are where my liquidity positions are put in at. And so I know exactly where I'm at as far as my impermanent loss factor. And what I'll do is, so you see right down here where this liquidity is at. If we go below this pocket of liquidity, I feel like, we can go down to Goblin Town down here. So if we go below here, I will pull the liquidity. And if we go above here, the top of this range, not the top of this one, this is too high for me, but the top of this range, I will pull my liquidity. So it's like literally putting in stop losses, and you're making like a business plan to say, okay, if we go below this or above this, we're just going to pull it without any emotion and any thought. And so that way I don't experience the impermanent loss if one runs against the other incredibly hard. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been providing liquidity since back in here when it dropped out of this range. I feel like that was a great time. I didn't know. I felt like it was going to drop somewhere in this liquidity pocket. And so I was like, well, let's go ahead and place it right here. And I caught it right here. It was a little before that. I should have waited maybe a little bit longer. But regardless, one here and I got one here. And the second one, man, I nailed right on. I put it on in this area. We've been in there for a week, almost 2 weeks, and we're just running sideways, which is really cool. PulseX and Ink seem to be really in sync together. When one pumps, the other one follows. And I'm going to keep riding this out, making my Ink this passive income. I love making passive income just for my real estate experience. It's just that you have to be very careful with crypto when you're making passive income because, you can get permanent loss. Unless you're mining. I do have a bunch of node validators. That's a great way of making passive income in crypto because there's no risk of impermanent loss. The only problem is that, a lot. You get anywhere from 8 to 12% APY, depending on usage of the chain and what's going on. I think right now, I'm making about 9-10%. So the APY is not very high. And it's the same like if you're staking Hex, on the short term. If you stake Hex on the monthly or up to about a year, you get anywhere from, I think it's between 8 to 10% APY. And I do stake Hex in that regard. And so I got my Hex bag working for me there. I've got the majority of Pulse bag working for me in the node validators. And now I have my Ink and PulseX working for me in the liquidity pools here with me managing it and watching it. And it's a great way to just kind of make some passive income while sitting sideways for a while. I mean, if Hans is right and we sit sideways all the way up to December, man, I can sit there and print money all the way to December without bringing new money in. I'll bring new money in too, but this is money that I didn't have to buy, right? Or this is crypto I didn't have to buy. So why not capitalize on this? And I feel like these two assets, the Ink and PulseX assets, man, they just kind of stay in a lockstep together. Even up here, look how long. This started back in April, the beginning of April, and it lasted all the way till the end of June. You could have printed so much ink during this time, and it didn't really drop too far out of the range. Your impermanent loss, you're probably still in great profit, even with the impermanent loss, had you been providing liquidity back in this range. Now, of course, when you're back here, you're not sure if it's going to drop further. There's no price, there's no price structure. But after I saw this structure print out, I was like, and I saw it kind of drop. I was like, well, it's probably going to drop down into this liquidity range, and it's probably going to run sideways again. And sure enough, that's what it's doing. It could obviously drop more again. This is crypto, but the risk is worth it for me with these two assets. And at the very least, at the end of the movie, if I'm holding more of one or the other, I'm okay with that with these two assets. I wouldn't be okay with that with the majority of my bag, majority of the assets in my bag. But with these two, the way they kind of move together, yeah, the risk for me is worth the reward here, and so that's how I'm playing the game here. So a little bit of alpha there for you if you guys are wanting to go in and provide a little bit of liquidity while we're in this sideways action. I personally would not do it with like Pulse and Ink or Pulse and PulseX, to be honest with you, because they run too hard against each other. Right now, PulseX is running really hard against Pulse. And in fact, we're in all-time new highs against Pulse. And for me, that's not worth the risk. The reward is not worth that risk. Maybe Pulse and Hex, maybe because we're in a bottom range there, and maybe it sits sideways for a while. But then again, I could see a time period where Hex runs really hard against Pulse again. It could happen, and then you're going to be stuck with a permanent loss. So I feel like with a PulseX and Ink, those two assets for me, the reward outweighs the risk. So yeah, do what you want with that information, but that's how I'm playing the game. Yep, it's the Agreeable Index. Scuba Steve likes diving for that treasure, man. I like diving in real life, man. If you guys have never scuba dived, it is an absolute blast. I like to tell people it's the next best thing to like meditation. Literally, when you're down there, it's just you and God. That's it. If you don't believe in God, fine, maybe the universe, whatever you believe in. But like, I believe in God. But like, it's just you, God, and the surrounding. You don't think about you're not thinking about crypto. You're not thinking about run your business. How you're gonna make payroll or something like. You're not thinking about any of those things when you're down there. You're not thinking about any of the problems in your life when you're down there. You're focused completely in the moment. And it's gorgeous. And so recommend any of you guys who have ever thought about scuba diving, go get licensed. Another cool part is once you're licensed for life. So you go to Patty, you got to go to Patty Scuba Dive Instructor. They will license you, and that license carries on for the rest of your life. You never have to take another test again. You never got to go and do a recertification or have to do more hours of training. I got my certification done when I was 14 years old. I'm 47. And so I've never had to do it ever again. And so anywhere I travel in the world, if I'm like, oh, let's go do a quick dive, I go find the nearest dive shop, show them my certification from when I was 14, and I can go dive. So something really cool to think about. And once again, it's a way of touching grass, if you will, right? You're going down there and there's nothing in the world that matters in those moments. It's really, really cool. It's very Zen-like. It's the closest to meditation, I feel like, for me, and the closest I can get to God without actually praying. And it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, man, anytime, bro. Anytime. Stand deep. What up, bro? Good evening from India, man. You're in India. Wow, it's crazy. So it's evening time there. You guys are probably 12 hours ahead of us or something here in Puerto Rico. It's 11:23 here a.m. So, man, I would love to tell him the story sometime. I don't know if that would ever be an opportunity I'll ever get. But I don't know if he's ever streaming again. Who knows, man? I think you would have a shot to get him on your stream, Crypto 7, because you probably have one of the biggest shows in the entire community. And so you'd probably get a shot of getting him on, man. That would be so effing cool, right? If you get Richard Hart on and you talk about your views going to the roof, that would be a show that would probably get 10,000 views, man, or more. Who knows? It would be wild. I mean, you get between 1,000 and 2,000 normally. So it would be absolutely cool, man. So, well, cool, guys. I just wanted to do a quick one today. I see 136 of you watching. Once again, if you guys are watching, hit that like button. Come over and sub. If you're on Twitter and you're watching, just come over and sub on YouTube. It helps boost the algorithm. And and watch us on YouTube so you can come in and comment. Once again, we're going to do Open Mic Friday tomorrow. If you guys want to come on and rap about anything, feel more and free, man. We can rap about, real estate. We can rap about crypto, obviously. We can rap about my shark experience again. I love telling that story, man. I'll be telling that story for the next 5 years because it was just so crazy. It's just one of those moments in your life where wow, that will probably never happen again in my entire life. Or if it does happen again, I might get eaten. So I don't know. I kind of like I'm on the like, do I want it to happen again? Probably not. So, but yeah, come on stream tomorrow. Let's do Open Mic Friday. Once again, I'm probably going to do the show an hour earlier than normal tomorrow because once again, we're going to get out of the house tomorrow, go to the beach. Tomorrow there is a my realtor who does all the crypto guys, like help them buy houses. He's the crypto guy realtor here in Puerto Rico. He's having the beach party, so there'll be a bunch of crypto guys there. There'll be Hexicans there. There'll be Solana guys there, and so it'll be fun to be hanging out and meet some of these guys. Some guys who I've never met, and that's what's cool about Puerto Rico is that it's kind of like the crypto hub, if you will, for the United States. Anybody in crypto probably lives out here, and they got some pretty big bags. I mean, it's really fun to hang out with people who has bigger portfolios than you do. In fact, you learn from them. It was the same thing in real estate. I always want to be in rooms with guys who are doing more deals than me because then I can learn, how to kind of get ahead of the pack, how to cut in line, if you will. Crypto's no different, man. You want to be around these guys who have bigger portfolios. And it's funny, the guys with the biggest portfolios are the most calmest. They have no worries of us not going up in the future, right? They're like, yeah, where we're supposed to be at. What? Like, what do you want? And it's funny, the bigger the bags, the more like level-headed they are. And I feel like maybe the smaller the bags, the opposite. I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but you see it on Twitter all day long. And I feel like the guys who are out there with the most toxicity, have the smallest bags because, man, they were wanting that 10,000X, right? Like, of course, right? We all wanted the 10,000X, but they were putting like $1,000 to $5,000 in, hoping for the 10,000X. Yeah, I just don't see it happening, especially this cycle. Although I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. I'm wrong all the time, but I'm not here to be right or wrong. I'm here to make money. And so, yeah, if you want a 10,000X on me, do it. And I will be more than happy. But I'm not playing for that. I built my portfolio in a way where 20X literally changes the trajectory of my family tree. I break the curse of mediocrity entirely, and it's off to the races. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to wind down from there. So I will see you guys mañana. Tune in. Like I said, an hour earlier. And yeah, we appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you guys because you guys make our show, right? You guys are the ones who come in every day, who believe in our content, who watch us. You are the community. You are our tribe. And let's keep rocking and rolling this market cycle and go touch some grass, guys. Go do it, man. Come out to Puerto Rico. Say hi. Touch some grass out here. And it's good for the mental state, right? Your mental being. And so, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to hop off. Appreciate and love all you guys. Smash the like and hit the subscribe on the way out. Peace.